Hey, how's it going? Um, I'm Phil, aka Slap Me Thrice, and if you've watched my videos before, my rig rundown videos, I mean, then you'll know that these get quite long, and I apologise. Normally, in the past, I haven't had any access to editing software, so this time might be different. I might be able to do some editing tricks and chop things down a bit to make things a bit more palatable. So we'll see. But I do have a lot of stuff to get through, so right, let's jump in. Guitars. I haven't had as much new guitar-wise. There's really only been the one, which isn't really going to be like a grand unveiling because I've already talked about it quite a lot on my channel. But here it is, just in case you haven't seen it. It is this. It is my Squier Classic Vibe 70s FSR, whatever that stands for, shell pink Jag. I've done quite a few mods to it. It didn't have the white, well, vintage white scratch plate pickguard on it before. I sold that. It came with a tortoiseshell one originally, which I really didn't like. I didn't think suited the guitar at all. Vintage white suits, I think, the colour scheme a lot better. I get a lot of compliments on this guitar. It plays great. It does still need a couple of things doing. I shimmed the neck myself, but I think I shimmed it a little bit too much, so I need to put a slightly smaller shim in there. The nut, I don't know if you can see, probably out of focus, I don't know, but there is quite a lot of action on the nut, so I've got to file that down. The buzz stop has been working really well. Quite a few people have given me grief for it. A lot of the Jag purists out there telling me that I'm basically killing the tone of this guitar by taking away its jangle. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But yeah, the buzzing has been lessened dramatically with having this on. The stay trem bridge is something I'm looking at getting possibly for this guitar. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But this is my Jag, and I really enjoy it. Even though it isn't quite finished, it plays great and sounds great. So I'll probably give that a bit of a play later on for you. The next one, there's only really the one more that I've got to show you, and it's one I already showed you in my last rundown, but I've done quite a few things to it. It's still a work in progress. Ooh, here we go. And I've loosely put, the pickups aren't bolted in or anything, the bridge is loose, but yeah, I've just basically finished spraying up this Bass 6 body this week. I've got a lot of plans for this. As you can see, the pickups are not stock at all. They barely fit. They're actually Strat pickups. The main feature, I guess you could say, of this guitar is going to be the sustainer pickup in the in the neck, sorry. The other two pickups are Alnico humbucker in the bridge. I think this is like a smaller wide range kind of style humbucker in the middle. I'm going to use these stock switches for some kind of clever routing things. I'm thinking maybe either a kill switch for one of the switches. Obviously the other one is going to be a sustainer on and off. I've got rid of the vibrato. This cost me about 50 quid with postage from Australia. There's a guy on eBay that has these, and he has all kinds of different style of string supports on his eBay page. This one I thought would be the best because it limits break angle across the bridge, which I've also in the process of changing for one of these. This is the Wilkin. Well, it's styled on a Wilkinson. I think it's probably all the same. It's been mass produced in China somewhere and branded and sold as different things all around the internet. But man, this is getting heavy. But yeah, as you can see, it's got quite a lot of adjustability on it. I've used this bridge on quite a few of my guitars. I've talked about them before on my other videos. I use them a lot on Epiphone style guitars, and they do wonders for opening up the sounds of the guitar. It really helps the overall volume, sustain, and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're great. I really recommend them. And I haven't tried these pickups out yet. I haven't tried the sustainer system out yet. Everything is basically just bolted into place. All the wires are loose inside. I just literally wanted to put it together so that I could see what it might look like when it's finished. This is my Epiphone Casino, and as I mentioned before, the bridge, which is currently stock, it's not the worst bridge that I've had on Epiphones by a long way. It's all right, it's decent, but that doesn't mean it can't be improved. So I have got a chrome version of that bridge to go on. So that's going to be replaced at some point. I just haven't got around to doing it yet. But it's a great guitar. I'm looking forward to getting it upgraded with that bridge. I'm sure it'll make it even better. Okay, so what else? Before we get onto pedals, there is one more thing that I bought recently. It is the TC Electronic Aeon. Aeon. So this is basically like an EBow sustainer type thing. I basically bought this because I miss my EBow. I used to have an EBow Plus way back in the day, and I really miss that thing. And also because I was getting impatient with the Bass 6 project not being ready yet, and I really, really wanted to make some sustainer noises. So I got this, and it's pretty cool. You can make Morse code signals with it. I think I prefer the EBow, though. From memory, the EBow Plus had an extra mode. It had a harmonic mode, so you could do some really cool harmonic feedback sounds with it, which was awesome. That is, it's better ergonomically, I think, but it doesn't quite sit on the strings as well. If you notice the sort of, I can't really show you, the ridges underneath are kind of spaced slightly closer together than most of the strings on my guitars. So they kind of bend the strings in a little bit when you're trying to like get the middle one to resonate, vibrate, whatever. So yeah, it's okay, it's usable, it sounds great, but still think I prefer the EBow, so I might just have to sell that one and look out for an EBow Plus again. Okay, so that is everything new apart from the pedals. So let's talk about the pedals next. Okay, so here is the bench, basically. This is where pedals come when they're waiting for me to either use them on my board for something or to dig them out for a video. This side shows basically yeah, all the cheaper stuff that I haven't used as much recently. The Digidelay is amazing, does not count as part of that category at all. Line Selector gets used a lot with my videos with Ben on our Noise Merchants channel. Echo Machine is awesome. Super Fuzz is awesome. The Nux Chorus is awesome. The Deluxe Big Muff goes without saying, but that's awesome as well. This is amazing. Love that pedal. I don't like talking about drive pedals that much because I hate having to just recycle the same old descriptions over and over again because we've all heard them 100 times over. Metal Zone, obviously, needs no explanation or introduction. This thing is I think a Polychorus clone, which is pretty noisy, to be honest. I don't use it very often, but it's very well made. Apart from that, but I think it's a vintage thing, the fact that it's so noisy. I think it's an honest, faithful recreation of the original, which probably is also noisy. My faithful Rubberneck, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Great pedal. A whole bunch of other drive pedals. Nux Mod Core, of course. little micro pedals that are also amazing. I could probably make a whole board of just these ones. This I posted on my Instagram recently. You can probably tell from looking at it already, but it's a Joyo Ultimate Drive that I've recently repainted. Funnily enough, at the same time I was painting that, I painted this. So yeah, same colour, made use of the paint, and yeah, still sounds every bit as awesome as it always did. Yeah, these are all basically pedals that didn't make it onto my current board this year, sadly. Especially sad about the Ravish sitar. That definitely deserves a place on my board. And the synth wah. The Echo Park is the original pedal that the Behringer Echo Machine I've got is a clone of. So yeah, I bought this mostly because I love the Echo Machine so much that I wanted the proper one. Basically, the Behringer sounds great, but the build quality is obviously not amazing, and the tap tempo on this is much easier to use. So on the Echo Machine, you have to press and hold for 2 seconds to access the tap tempo mode, whereas on this, the on and off is like a really, really hard press to get the pedal to turn on and off. But then the tap tempo is just much, much easier to access. You basically push it down a normal amount and it stops there. So you don't have to worry about over tapping. You don't have to worry about tapping the tempo so hard that you turn the pedal off. It's not going to happen. So yeah, great pedal. This is also new. I haven't played around with it too much yet, but yeah, it sounds great. This is the TC Electronic Nova Delay. I picked this up on eBay recently for 50 quid, which was a bargain, and couldn't say no to it for that. So yeah, expect a more thorough demo of that very soon. What can I say? Pitchfork, it's just been such a faithful friend to me over the years. This is the first time I've made a board without this pedal on it. But you'll see why in a second, why it's not on my board. The Tensor and the Mel 9, they're both fantastic, obviously. The Tensor is off my board because of the mood that I now have. Basically does 90% of what this can do, and I think it sounds better, generally speaking. So the Tensor is probably on its way out from my collection, but I'm probably going to do a few more videos with it before that happens. The Mel 9 and the C9 are both amazing creations. They can do a lot of cool sounds. I especially miss the cello, the flute, and the orchestra as well. Are both really, really cool sounds. So I'm going to do what I can to get that back on my board very soon. The shelf on my windowsill over here has a few other random odds and sods. This is a Digitech FS3X, very useful for the Pitchfork Plus that I've just got. There's a broken Digitech Expression Factory and my old Joyo PXL Live that I haven't used for a long time, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it because I got it so cheap. That brings me to the board. Look at it. It's far from the most photogenic board that I've ever had, but it doesn't look too bad. It cleans up pretty well. I finished this only this week, so yeah, it took me quite a while to get this finished and wired up. Starting with the signal chain over here, we go into the Mantic Flex Pro. That goes from there into the Miku, goes from there into the Coriolis effect, which is probably one of the most underrated pedals that I own. This has the Hotone Soul Press plugged into the Expression pedal input. So that goes from the Coriolis effect, goes not far. It goes up to the Pitchfork Plus. This thing is a beast. It does so much. There's a huge amount of functionality in this tiny thing. Electro Harmonics did an amazing job with this pedal. I've got a whole video on this, and again on our Noise Merchants channel we did quite a lot on this pedal as well, so head over there to get a bit more information and a detailed overview on this thing. From the pitchfork we come over here to the first of my bypass loop pedals, which is isolating the stereo inputs of the Zoom Multi-Stomp, my first of two. So yeah, that's a little bit of a complicated part of my signal chain we'll come back to later, but essentially I can use this pedal early on in my chain for anything that I might want to use pre-gain, basically. So yeah, the output of this bypass loop pedal comes all the way up here into the Echo Dream 2. So I wanted a delay pedal to be pre-dirt for some shoegazing wall of noise kind of thing. And there's no better pedal, really, for making noise than this thing. That then goes from there down into my only drive pedal, pretty much, unless you're counting the Mantic Flex, which is kind of more of a PLL fuzz. This is an absolutely incredible drive pedal, as you can tell from the fact that it is the only drive pedal on my entire board. And yeah, it does everything pretty much that I could possibly want a drive pedal to do. So yeah, after this, this black cable here travels all the way up here and snakes its way into the EQ7. So this is a really nifty space-saving option if you want an EQ pedal on your board but don't want to sacrifice a lot of space. So from there, tiny little cable hiding away under there, you can just about see, that comes down here into my volume pedal, and which also has the Polytune Noir in the auxiliary input. So that can basically stay on all the time, and then you can just use the volume pedal to silence your signal, so you can tune in silence, but also, yeah, it's always on, so you don't need to turn that on or off to tune. The green cable there heads all the way underneath the other two pedals into my Super Ego. For the last couple of years or so I've had it. This has been a valuable asset for any kind of droning and ambient playing that I've wanted to do. The effects loop of which comes over here. That is isolated in this bypass loop pedal, and then the blue cables go up here into the stereo inputs of Multi-Stomp number 2. So this bypass loop pedal is housed entirely within the effects loop of the Super Ego. The output of that is orange. That goes up to here into the Rowan flanger, a rebranded Moore E-Lady, which is a very highly regarded clone of the Electric Mistress. So the flanger goes from there up into the tailspin vibrato. I only bought this about 2 weeks ago, and it has, well, the fact that it's so big and has already made its way onto my board should tell you everything that of how good it is. So yeah, look how big it is. It's like half the size of the Echo Dream. It's insane how big this pedal is. It did not look this big in the picture when I bought it. I was thinking, oh, look at that tiny little thing. Yeah, I'll buy that. That'll be easy to put on my board or play with and then sell on if I don't really like it that much. And here it is. And it weighs a ton as well. It's really heavy. Okay, so the output of that pedal, where are we? Yes, here. That travels down here into the Fluid Time. This is I've already covered this pedal on my channel before. This is an analog delay. It has a bunch of the same features as the Rubberneck, but in obviously half the size. plus a whole bunch of other cool stuff that it can do. Most importantly for me, it has an effects loop built into it. So I've got my my trusty TRS Y insert cable going from there into the mono inputs of this pedal. This has a yellow sticker on it as well, so I can keep track of where everything is. I should probably put a yellow sticker on this as well, just to remind myself. So yeah, I can have any kind of effects that I want. Basically, I can design a preset and have that appear only on the repeats of the delay in this pedal. So that's pretty cool. From here, that I think, yeah, the output of this pedal comes up here into the Young Hearts. So again, this is a really cool analog voiced delay. It does a whole bunch of really cool, like, lo-fi modulation stuff and forward and reverse kind of modes for some really cool kind of pitch bending delay sounds. It's really cool and weird. The chain doesn't go too far from this pedal into the DD8. That has the Wheelush Effects FS7 clone in its expression input. This can basically tap tempo even when the pedal is off, which is really useful. And with this side, you can access, if you hold it down, you can access the twist or ramping oscillation function. Again, even when the pedal is off, which is really cool. So that's a very, very useful combo to have. Obviously, it has a bunch of different... come on, focus. There we go. It has a bunch of different modes and stuff in there. I talked about this already quite a lot on my channel and in the last rig rundown. That then goes into... I think it goes into this one. Yeah. The mood. Actually, no. I think the DD8 goes into the particle. Yes, it does. So, yeah, the Particle V2 from Red Panda. What can I say about this thing? It's incredible. It does all the pitch bending stuff that you want and expect. It does really cool reverse delay things. It does some really amazing multi-tap delay and trigger hold delays and stuff. It's weird. It's really weird, but it's amazing. That then goes into the mood, which obviously, I mean, what could you possibly say about this pedal? It's all things to all ambient guitarists. It's an ambient player's dream. It does everything you could want in one pedal, basically. I could probably just about get by with any kind of delay and reverb sound I could possibly want without any of the other stuff that's on here. It's that good. But I would miss all the other pedals too much to do that. So yeah, it is basically joining the ranks of all these other delays. The signal chain from there comes down here into the second bypass looper pedal, which is controlling the mono inputs, or isolating rather the mono inputs of the second multi-stomp. So yeah, with these two bypass loop pedals, we've got this multi-stomp just after the pitchfork, and then over here we've got obviously this multi-stomp just after the mood. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of stuff between these two pedals. From there, where are we? This is a red cable, goes all the way up here into the supernatural reverb. So this does some really, really cool modulation and pitch reverbs. So there are some really out there spacey sounds that you can get with this thing, and yeah, it's amazing. It does a lot of really cool stuff. After this pedal, we have got the Red Mountain tremolo. So I like tremolo after delays, and in this case after reverb as well, or one of them. So yeah, this does a whole bunch of really cool stuff as well. From there it goes into the Loop Core Deluxe, which has a additional foot switch for some increased functionality as far as skipping presets. I think you can store different loops and things in here and then scroll backwards and forwards between them. And there's also like loop stop functions that it can do as well. It's very cool. So yeah, this is an amazing looper pedal. It's basically perfect for jamming alone and creating songs and all kinds of other cool things, basically. From the Loop Core, that basically goes just up into the Dimension reverb from Source Audio, and that's the last pedal in the chain. I like having a reverb last in the chain after everything else, especially the looper, just to give some extra ambience to your recorded loop. And it also helps as well if you're running drums or a rhythm track on your loop, that yeah, to have a bit of ambience applied to that just to make it a little bit more natural sounding, it goes a long way. And also then when you double press to stop the loop, the reverb helps it not to sound too much of a too harsh, like a sudden coming to a sudden stop out of nowhere. It's nice to have some trails to just make it seem a little bit more natural. So that's it. That's my board. Those are all my pedals that you've seen, I think. I don't think there's anything else hiding away anywhere. How about we play through this board a little bit and experience some tonage.